Scott Razor Robinson. It will not be long before the 32 names will be read out, his first ever All Blacks squad. There it is, the breakdown special, Monday the 24th of June at 5:30 p.m. It is the Monday directly after the Super Rugby final that will probably be the Blues and the Chiefs, according to JK. Who will be the names? Who will be the new names in the squad? Have you all got someone for me?
You go first, JK.
Derry.
Wow, that was quick. Sam Derry.
Yep.
Why?
I just think he's been the most improved this year. I think, you know, he might not be 3, but he'll be 4th lock for sure. You know, I think he's going to be in the squad. I think it's one of the positions in the All Blacks that if you're an All Black, you'd be worried about, right? I think you're going, where are we lacking depth? I think one of the only positions is actually lock. And so I think he's done enough this year. However, he's got to have a blinder this week and a blinder in the final.
Well, he's got to be back first and foremost,
He's back.
doesn't he,
He's back
Jeff?
next week.
Because he's had such a rough run with injuries for such a young man, hasn't he?
And I agree with you, JK, because the fact of when he has been out there, he's looked really, really good. I'm not so worried about the injury thing. It's the type of player I think you would need at the next level. He's certainly filled out over the last 2 years. Look, he came up from Christchurch, went to the Blues, and it took him a little bit of a while to put on the frame. I think the frame's there now for the next level. You know, it was never going to be easy to replace, and actually to say impossible, Sam Whitelock and Brodie Retallick. So we're always going to have a big hole. You know, Scott Barrett fills one of those massively. He's as good as those guys, I believe, in an All Black jersey in terms of performance. Tupou Vaya, absolutely. I'm going to then add another lock. I think you have to give him credit because the engine room of the Hurricanes has been working well, and Isaiah Walker-Leawiri
Bolter.
Well, he's not. I don't think he's a Bolter. Well, ultimately in a position where we need players, and their team is standing up in that position, and their type 5 has been performing well. I think he's a player who's been part of the New Zealand A side as well.
I think they both make it.
Well, they could both make it.
Now
absolutely.
that Patrick's out.
Now that
Patrick opens
out.
up. Opens a bit.
Exactly.
But I think for me, I think he's been a big mover as well.
I think in this position you've got to take specialists.
Yeah.
Right? So you might have said, with Patrick available, I'll take a loose forward lock cover. But I think with Patrick being injured, you've got to go, I need 4 locks.
And Derry probably would be the one I mean, if you look at the All Black setup, okay, so Vai and obviously Barrett will do all the majority of the heavy lifting. It's more that support guy that's going to come in, you know, if there's an injury there, but also you're growing them in that sort of position. Now that Patrick's out, obviously he'd be the obvious fit where you sort of grow those other couple, but Derry would probably, I would say Walker-Leawiri, I like his mobility, you know, but there's still room for him to actually grow. But he's stepping up at the right time. Then the other guy I would say is probably just brings something a little bit different. Every time I've sort of seen him, is probably Braden Iose. I think Iose has been, you know, one of those guys, and he can play 8, he can play probably 6, and also to push 7. I like what he's done, and I think he's a little bit different than what we've got already. I think with the way Razor, and I've been trying to pick his brain, which I don't know him, but the thing is, he just
Good luck with that.
I know, I just think Iose just brings something a little bit different. Like, if you look at someone like, who was it, at the Crusaders.
Ethan Blackadder?
No, Leo Willie.
Oh, Christian Leawili.
A guy like that, similar to that. Razor brought him on and he's just gone to another level. So I think Iose is similar.
So if Iose makes it, who doesn't?
Well,
Does a Hoskins or Tutu miss out? Who misses out?
I haven't thought about it.
I don't think there's room for him. Right now, I just don't think.
Does Lakai make it?
Peter Lakai's the one for me. I'm
makes
big
it?
on Peter. He makes it.
I don't think they both make it.
I don't think they both make it. I think what you'll see, the ceiling on this kid's so high, and he's been consistent throughout the whole year. And he's got some versatility in around the positions he could play, I believe. He could play 8. I think the talent level, is he a starting loose forward in the first Test match? Probably not. But in terms of, he has to be on form, on frame and everything, but there's this whole balance of the squad, you know, so you end up going picking your full team and then you can find ways to fit guys in. Yeah. I have heard as well is that what they are going to do is during the training weeks, they're going to bring some young guys in for a couple of days.
So they are naming 40.
No, they're not going to name 40. I think what they'll do...
Gee, that's going to blow the budget.
No. I think there's a negotiation going on that there are some younger guys who may not, Iose, but one of those guys who doesn't initially make the first group, but is brought in for a couple of trainings just to get in the environment, because you've got to remember, Razor's worked with one squad for a long, long time. And I went down and I don't know how many Crusaders are going to be in this 32-man squad. I'm thinking maybe only 6 or 7 around there, you know. So that's a significant shift.
That's a lot.
That's
when
not
you
a
do it.
lot, mate.
That's a lot.
A lot when they
Well, not for
make
the
the
Crusaders when half the team's been from the Crusaders. So I mean, I think
or
there's some.
7's
I don't know, 7 and 8. But there's a anche un voce di corridoio that Akira Ioane is maybe not going to be here next year.
Yeah. So that. He isn't.
That's confirmed.
That's
That's
news is
voce
broken.
di Will in my ear. Voce di Will. So he's gone. He's gone, which actually changes the dynamic quite a bit.
Well, was he in your team?
No, but he's well.
So it doesn't change the dynamic if he wasn't in your
it does
squad.
change the dynamic because if you're looking for a type of player, I think Akira's been outstanding, right, in the last few weeks. Very tough on defence, carrying the ball hard, doing his hard yards, right? But he's out of the picture, so we don't have to worry.
So hold on. So if he's not available next year, he's out of the picture now for you.
Oh, for me, yeah.
Okay. All right.
For me, I'm thinking like Razor Robinson.
Yeah.
Same argument with Sam Cane, who emotionally I would love for him to play again. But I just think that we don't have time, right? You get an injury, Sam Cane comes in. But I just don't think when you look at that mix, you just...
Throughout the season, all three of you have said Billy Proctor. Does Billy Proctor make the 32?
Correct.
For who?
Oh, on merit. I think he makes it on merit.
But someone else doesn't then. It's just like the Brad and Iose conversation. Someone else doesn't.
I think Havili... How bad's Havili's shoulder?
Well, the thing we've got right now is that he's got probably 2 more weeks to just confirm what everyone's known about his form this year in a pressure situation, and his matchup with Anton Leonard-Brown or close to it, the impact they'll have on the game, Mills. I think he's done too much this year to be ignored. The big question mark is whether it's enough to get ahead of Rieko Ioane in the starting lineup for the All Blacks.
Well, no, but we're asking who he's replacing. I think he'd be replacing Havili. Havili won't make it if Proctor makes it. So you're either going to go for experience, and I don't know how bad his shoulder is. I haven't got caught up with that. But you can't take Proctor and Havili because I think you're going to have Rieko, you've got Geordie, they're starting. You're going to... I mean, traditionally in the past, you start your guys.
Are we immune to the fact that Rieko Ioane is a world-class winger? Like what we're talking about one of the guys who's the most effective on the outside channel. We just moved him to centre through necessity.
I think
we didn't have anybody.
I think he'll be picked as a centre.
Yeah, I'm not 100.
We've got heaps of wings too. Who's going to miss out on the wing? You've got your team. Name your whole team.
No, I'm not saying my whole
I
team.
actually think I think Proctor Proctor does. He makes it. He makes my team with Ioane as our centres. Does he make the centre starting position? Well, we'll get to that. But I think Ioane as our centre. Proctor comes in as well. I think there's room to actually move on the outside backs, and the makeup of the outside backs being the back three.
So is Ruben Love in your team?
Yeah,
is Ruben Love in your team?
Ruben Love, he's a little bit dinged up at the moment, but Ruben Love I mean, now that Will Jordan's out, Stevenson's starting to come into play as well. I think
that battle this weekend too.
Exactly, and now they're playing up against each other. I mean, pressures, like I said, but Ruben Love has been a standout this year. You'd have to say in all aspects of that. It's whether he's going to bring that energy and be as influential now he's highly marked when it comes to the semi-finals and final.
I think he makes it because we've got the world's best jolly in the world. We've got Bowden Barrett available and playing for us. He'll probably play lock.
Geordie can.
You know what I mean? So Bowden, it depends on how you're going to use Bowden. If you say we're going to start him at fullback because he's our best, that's one discussion. But if you say we're going to use him off the bench, he's going to cover 15, 10, he'd probably have no issues playing that role, although he's incredibly competitive. Who's our next fullback?
Yeah, but the question,
who is, so you're saying...
The question I have is simply around with Ruben Love, is that who's our next best 10 behind Damien McKenzie? Is there preference there for Bowden Barrett to be our next best 10? Because I think it's a massive conversation.
McKenzie, Barrett, Perifeta.
So you've got Perifeta in as well. So you've got 2, 3 very players.
10, 15 cover.
Yeah, but to me, it's looking at that position at 10 is critical because that'll affect all the other positions and what you can afford in terms of wings. Whether Sevu Reece can make it, Caleb Clark can make it, Amoni Narawa can make it, and Mark Talia can make it. All those questions.
They always get rid of wingers, mate.
Don't they?
They always get rid of wingers.
You can.
They get rid of us.
Or do you have a Love come in one of those
I don't think the picture's any clearer.
Unfair.
Very unfair.
I think there's some really good and talented young players over the next couple of weeks. 2 or 3 are going to have the opportunity to prove they deserve to make the squad. And Ruben Love and Stephen Perifeta, to me, are 2 of them over the next 2
So
weeks.
you're one or the other?
I'm at the moment one or the other.
How important is the fact that a couple of the New Zealand teams have an extra 2 or 3 weeks to show what they've got in certain positions? When you look at a Cortez Vatima over a Falafel Katava and an Ohotham that don't get that opportunity, how important is that?
It's hugely important because you're not just playing round robin either. You're playing high pressure, the closest that you'll get to test match pressure.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the 7 Crusaders that are going to
I'm curious who they are.
I'm really curious about that because, answer your question, Kirst, for me, it's a bonus that you play because if you're not an All Black, then they get to see you at that next level. But if you are an All Black, you know, I mean, the Blackadder discussion's an interesting one, you know. Played really well the last few weeks. Is he in already and he doesn't have to play anymore? You know, we know Cody Taylor's...
Fraser said to us earlier on this season, he had 80% of the squad picked. They picked themselves. He knows that, right? He said it, he admitted on the show. 80% picked themselves. They're guys who have done it in the black jersey before. Leadership guys he has to trust, that he probably knows anyway. They've had leadership meetings, but I look at that and I go, you know what? The 20% is what he's watching. And that means there's room for movement for any of these guys.
Players.
And you've just mentioned, this is as close as you're going to get to Test match rugby as a knockout game, a semi-final and final of Super Rugby. I think he'll have 3 names up and he'll be watching intently and going, you know what, this is the time for these guys to shine. If someone does it, they'll earn an All Black jersey. And that's what's great
I
about
reckon
the
next week we've got to put our teams up and the mix.
And the put of the week that he's in Japan. couple of weeks, mate, after the final.
I'll be on your tackle.
I'm trying to work out who I'm going to pick this week because I had the Crusaders, now the Highlanders are gone.